Hi. I was about to start with my regular intro, but we are not doing that tonight. We are doing Game Masters design and discussion.
Yes.
We're going to talk this month's Unearthed Arcana, the Barbarian and Monk,
Yes.
Winged Wild Soul, and
We have the Astral Self.
yes.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Well, let's just start with the Barbarian. I think they missed the mark with it. I like what they did, but it's supposed to be a Fey touched Barbarian, and it feels like a wild magic touched Barbarian.
Yes, I'll give you that. I
like it, but I don't think it fits the flavor of what it was supposed to be. Then there's definitely some things that we tweak.
I don't like it
At all?
At all, really.
Okay.
The Arcane Rebuke is interesting.
I think that's my favorite thing.
Other than that, I'm not a big fan of it. I think the lingering magic is too odd. I think.
It's odd. I think it would be a neat flavor if he didn't know. The Barbarian didn't know, but like other people could see him glow or in some way react.
Yeah. My biggest problem is with it. I don't know. I think like that. If you were to do that, it would have to be something that was always on, and ultimately would be useless.
Yeah.
Because the first time, as soon as that Barbarian gets a magic weapon, or any of his party members do, he's going to be glowing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't give him an idea, because this reading of it doesn't say that you know the source of it. You glow a color. You choose your color scheme.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say that you're able to tell.
Yeah, because you
what it is. And if it's going to be that vague, why bother putting a limit on it? Just have it always be on.
Yeah.
Now, if they made it connected to a different sense, like smell,
yeah,
then you could sniff out. You become a truffle pig at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I have mixed feelings about it. They can't use it when they're raging because they're still casting the spell.
Right.
So I kind of like that, giving them something off rage rather than everything being about their rage. But
I suppose that's one aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Mixed feelings.
Yeah, it's just that feature, once you're 5th level, certainly, is all but useless.
Yeah.
Because everyone's expected to have at least one magic item by that point. So, and what happens if, in that case, there's nothing here to adjudicate multiple schools of magic? Does your skin ripple in different colors? Does it change
between the two?
Yeah, is it? Yeah,
like if it's yellow and red are your two colors for the two schools, do you glow orange?
Right.
And then what if you have the school picked out for orange already?
Right. So yeah, that's just, there's too many problems in that one for and I really hate the Wild Surge.
So what I would do with the Wild Surge, and I think it's, I don't know, I would make them all like one-time quick effects like the Wild Search table with the Sorcerer, and like the Sorcerer is when you roll a 1, and when they critically their rage is fueled by this wild magic, and when they roll a 1 on an attack while they're raging, in addition to missing, this wild magic expends itself.
Okay, I like that better than what this is.
That's how I would do it. It's good. You're channeling this pent up magic through your rage, and it's got to release. Well, you totally missed with the attack, but that magic still releases.
Okay, that I like better than what they did here. Because, like, wild magic is only a 5% chance of it going off when you cast a first level spell or higher.
Right. And you can do it when you attack during a rage.
Right.
5% chance.
This guarantees every single time you rage.
Yeah.
And there's a class feature later that lets you do it again.
Yeah. Change it every time you want to on a bonus action.
Right. And basically all that means is once you hit level 14 is you're trying to roll that 2.
And see what I would do with that one at level 14 if you do it the way I'm proposing. Like at later levels, the Wild Sorcerer can roll twice and pick which one. When it expends, you roll twice and pick which one happens.
Yeah. That's a fairly good fix.
So that's how I would do those 2 things. But again, I wouldn't make this a Fey touched Barbarian.
Right.
I would make it a Wild Magic touched Barbarian.
Yeah. Yeah, because basically answers the question: what happens when a Wild Magic Sorcerer doesn't embrace their magic, doesn't go into the magic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're basically a sorcerer that renounced magic or never tapped into the magic.
Right. Or a physical adept.
Yeah.
To bring shadow
into it. Yeah.
And I didn't think of that when I did my redesigns, but mostly when I did my redesigns, it was a Fade touched.
And I've got some notes about that as well. But let's go through what is here.
Right.
And then we'll go through our.
Okay.
The big one I dislike is the magic reserves. That is the thing that I think needs to be totally scrapped and something new done. It is too easy to become a spell battery.
Yeah.
You've already got a bank hit point because you're the Barbarian. There's magic items that can make you resistant to force damage, which then halves the downside. And then, like you and I talked when we saw each other when this first came out, have your cleric put Healing Spirit in his square, and he's healing every round, and then he's just giving you free spell slots.
Yep.
I think it's way too powerful. There's way too many ways to abuse it.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the 6, yeah, it's a 1 in 6 chance, but nothing else can give you a 6th level spell slot.
Yeah. Not arcane recovery, not natural recovery.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and even without the Healing Spirit workaround, a 2nd level spell slot from a life cleric will cover that damage.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Yeah. Or because what is it?
And what you could do is you could reverse it even, and on a critical, or if you end your rage in an attack, or like you hit, you can end your rage to take away that spell slot from the enemy caster that you just hit.
Yeah, that would be an interesting mechanic.
So either a critical hit or I end my rage, but he's now down X spell slot.
Or end your rage as a counterspell.
Yeah. Yeah. if a spell targets you or you're in the area of effect, you can end your rage to counterspell as if,
As if you'd cast Counterspell, and your casting stat is Constitution.
Yeah.
So you roll a con check.
Because you're absorbing the magic to fuel your next rage.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I think that would be...
Which might be a way that they can get back used rages.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do that.
Yeah. If you're successful, you regain the use of a rage.
I don't know if I would go that far, though. But essentially, is a rage worth a 3rd level spell slot?
Yeah.
Is the equation. And if it is, then they don't need a reward for getting rid of their page.
So if you have to roll, so you're casting as the 3rd level, and if you have to roll and you succeed, then you regain. It's higher.
I don't think you need to.
Okay.
But to reward the use of the ability to flavor it that way definitely sells that part better.
Yeah.
And it would also be the only barbarian subclass that can regain a rage.
Yeah. Which is pretty powerful.
Yeah. And also handy because outside of that table, their rages don't give them anything extra.
Yeah.
Like Storm Sorcerer or the Storm Barbarian does, and the Zealot Barbarian get extra dice of damage. So yeah.
I think the Arcane Rebuke is my favorite ability that they get.
And that would actually build thematically on your version of the 6th level power. Because instead of dropping their rage, they just decide, I'm going to do damage to you instead.
Yeah. So you can either do damage or end the rage and potentially cancel the effect.
Yeah. That's cool.
So,
yeah. And then Chaotic Fury, which is the replacement one, which your version works well and better, I think.
Yeah. That's how I would reflavor it. That's what I would do, and that would be, and I would make it basically a wild magic conduit barbarian.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think, like, the necrotic damage one is potentially stupid powerful.
So that one, I would definitely either give them a saving throw for no damage, like a con save, or you regain temporary hit points equal to half. Because everything else where you regain, it's half the damage dealt, not the sum total of the damage dealt.
It's true.
I do like the fact that it hits friends and foes alike.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a balancing feature. But, I mean, that's potentially 35 d10 of damage.
Yeah.
Nothing in the game does that.
Yeah. I would probably change it to d6s and either give them a save or you get half instead of the full.
I mean, I guess that's one fix. The teleportation is about the only thing in here that is Feywild inspired, I think. Or the plant life.
Yeah. I see no problem with the teleport one, especially on my fix. Oh, I rolled a 1, and now I'm no longer by the person, that I wanted to hit.
Yeah.
The flumps, the exploding flumps, I don't know.
I think they tried to be whimsical in some of these choices, and that's their flight of whimsy. The Wild Magic Sorcerer table has a lot more options, so you can afford to put little random stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is 8 options.
Yeah.
That you're going to be rolling on this table 3 times a day. 3 times an adventuring day.
Yeah.
Because every time you enter a rage, you have to roll on it.
More so after you hit 14th level.
Right. I don't think there's the variety. To reflect the wild magic aspect, and I don't think they're thematic at all with the Feywild.
Yeah, I agree. I would almost consider taking 8 if they want to keep it 8, but I would almost say 12. Just to theme it with the Barbarian D12 hit die. Just do a D12. Pick 12 options from the Wild Sorcerer. Put them into the table.
Yeah. But yeah, do we want to get into my Fey Touched Barbarian?
Yeah, let's talk about a Fey Touched Barbarian and what we think they would look like.
So I have 2 concepts that I did.
Okay.
So one is what I call the magic version.
Okay.
And at 3rd level, they get an ability that I've called Fey Step.
Okay.
Once per long rest, you can cast Misty Step without using components or a spell slot. Also, while you are raging, you can use a bonus action to teleport 10 feet.
Okay.
So they have once per long rest teleport that they can do out of combat, basically.
Right.
And once they're raging, they can just, as a bonus action,
blink dog around the...
Right. And that enables them to pop to get advantage. So they can just pop to flanking.
Pop to flanking, or in and out.
Right.
Move up, hit you, pop out, away from you.
Right. And because that enables...
For a hit and run Barbarian.
Yeah. Which we don't see.
Which would be a really neat option if you're playing a Minotaur from Ravnica.
Yeah.
Charge up, hit him with your horns, or pop out of there.
Yeah.
That would be neat. I can see that.
Also, at 3rd level, and this is the really cool one.
Okay.
I think. Fickle Rage is the name of this feature.
Okay.
You may suspend your rage a number of rounds equal to your Constitution modifier. While suspended, you gain none of the benefits of your rage. Suspending your rage does not end it.
Okay.
It is a free action to suspend or to re-enter the rage. But they must be on different terms.
Okay.
And this gets at the fickle nature of the Fae.
Okay. So what is the benefit in suspending your rage?
This really goes with multi-classing spellcasters.
Okay. Yeah. You can see it.
Because
Fey Pact Warlock or...
Yep.
Yeah.
Or a sorcerer, any spellcasting.
Glamour Bard, anything that's...
Right.
Dreams, Druid,
right.
Circle of Dreams, all the Fey touched subclasses.
And Barbarian Druid is a popular combo.
Yeah.
Because you can enter the rage in your beast form.
Yeah. And Circle of Dreams, the Fey touch, I can see that. Yeah.
Yep. So, and this allows you to suspend the rage and cast.
Okay.
Or it also allows you, if you're in a situation where you entered a rage too early.
Yeah, or you have to run down the guy and you're not going to have to drop it. Oh, I suspend it, now I don't have to worry about it dropping and then I can reactivate it.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of mobility options in the Fickle Rage and also the Fey Step.
Okay.
So, yeah. The 6th level, usually a banner ability, and I've done the same. Courtly influence, because the Feywild is rife with courtly intrigue.
Okay.
The Seelie and Unseelie courts and all that stuff that
Right.
happens. So, 6th level for this guy, you can use your strength for persuasion or intimidation.
Okay.
So it gives this barbarian a social use, where normally barbarians don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also, an interesting point, mechanically, because when you're raging, you have advantage on strength checks. So if you make a strength intimidation check, you would have advantage on it while you're raging.
Okay.
Which is another little nice nugget
Yeah.
in
And
there.
one would think if one was me trying to intimidate while raging, they would have be more successful.
Right, exactly. 10th level is a fun one. Hedge Step. Once per long rest, you can cast the Tree Stride without components or spell slot. So this feeds into the Fickle Rage. Because now, even without a spellcasting multiclass,
Right.
they have a spell that they can cast in addition to Misty Step, because they can also do that. Suspend the Rage and cast Misty Step.
Yeah.
So with this, they now have another spell that's mobility-based and fits with the Feywild.
Yeah.
Of plants and everything, trees, and Tree Stride is kind of a big deal because that's up to 500 feet that you can travel, and it's concentration.
Yeah.
So this barbarian can just once per long rest, which I thought adds an interesting tool for a toolbox.
Yeah.
At 14th level, Fairy Circle. Once per long rest, you can cast Plane Shift. You can only go to the Feywild or the Material Plane. Additionally, you count as a material component for those two planes. So if you're Druid, Wizard, Bard, whoever else has Plane Shift, they can use you as the tuning fork requirement for the spell.
I like it.
Because you're attuned to both planes.
Right.
Second option for a Fey-touched barbarian, what I call the court version.
Okay.
At 3rd level, Seasonal Rage.
Okay.
When you enter your rage, choose a season. You do 1d6 bonus damage on attack per turn. Summer, fire, autumn, necrotic, winter, cold, spring, radiant.
Okay.
You also gain resistance to that damage type.
Okay.
So this is a parallel of the Zealot Barbarian, where they're getting the extra dive damage.
Right.
But they get to choose every time they enter the rage.
Right.
Again, reflecting the fickle nature of the Fae.
Yeah. Kind of makes me want to play an Eladrin with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because they get to choose their season a long rest.
Yeah.
And then they get certain benefits. Yeah. Exactly. At 6th level, Courtly Influence, same for both subclass builds. At 10th level, Seasonal Storm. Once per short or long rest, as a bonus action while you are raging, you blast an area 10 feet out from you or a 30-foot cone. So you have a choice of how to channel the storm.
Okay.
Dealing 6d6 of your seasonal damage or half as much on a successful save.
What kind of save is it?
Fire and Radiant is Dex, Necrotic and Cold is Constitution.
Okay.
I
like that it changes with the type.
Yeah. And that's basically Dragon Breath saves. And then the 14th level ability, Seasonal Affect.
Okay.
While you are raging, all allies within 30 feet of you add your seasonal damage to their weapon attacks. You give vulnerability to your seasonal damage type to a number of creatures per long rest, equal to your Constitution modifier. If a creature is resistant, you remove their resistance instead for 1 minute.
Okay. Interesting. So and I really didn't get past the first set because I wasn't really sure, but the idea I had for a Fey Touch was almost more of a shape-shifting, more of a taking on aspect of the creatures of the Feywild. And for 3rd level, I had them while raging, not exactly, but the basis for it was Primal Savagery cantrip, where that does, you grow fingernails or, and you can do, but it does acid damage, and I would just do it slashing, the wolf. And treant armor, where you grow barkish, and I was trying to think, and I was thinking that you could just get a bonus to your AC equal to your rage damage. Yeah. So +2 to +3,
+5 is where it caps out, I think.
As you go up.
Yeah.
And then it would stack with your unarmored or your armored, because it's just a bonus.
Yeah.
But that's as far as I got with that. I didn't really think of anything that I would do at 6th or 10th or 14th level.
Well, for transformations,
I mean, I could see like a 10th level being much
like my wild shape for the warden.
Yeah.
Where you take on a plant form or something, plant or elemental form, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
6th level, maybe you can cast polymorph on yourself once a day. That would be an outside of rage thing. But no, I don't know.
6th level is too low for polymorph.
Okay.
Because that's one of the things that I checked when I did my spell choice.
That's right, because it's 4th level.
Yeah. So 10th level.
10th level, you could do that.
Which would put it at the same as the transmutation wizard.
Yes.
Which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
And 6th level is usually, like I said, a banner ability. So it's a non-combat thing. Disguise self at will.
Disguise self at will.
Basically give them the warlock invocation.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Maybe 14th, give them the elemental plant to rewarding. I mean, it's a few rounds later, but it's...
Yeah, but I don't know if it's necessarily thematic.
Yeah. Well, it's more thematic than polymorph.
No, not really, because fey creatures are always changing.
That's true.
They are always changing their shape and disguising themselves. Maybe work something in there that they can take on aspects of the creatures they're fighting.
Yeah. Something.
Where they can take on the creature's resistances.
Oh, yeah. Or can gain resistance to the creature's damage type.
Well, most creatures are going to be doing slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing outside of magic stuff. But I think taking the aspect of I can change my form and it's mutable.
Yeah.
To be able to go to be more effective in fighting you, I'm going to become resistant. I'm going to share your resistances. Because most creatures who do have resistances do that damage.
Yeah, that's true.
So now I'm going to have your resistances, so it's like you're fighting your own people.
Yeah.
And maybe throw on extra damage. Maybe as part of the 6th level thing, you have not only can they cast Disguise Self, but while disguised as a different race, they can speak that language,
Oh, yeah.
which would tie in with the 14th level ability.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you can change your form. You can look like a vampire. Now you can have all the resistance of a vampire.
Yeah.
Or, a tiefling or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that could be neat. Yeah, but that's where my mind went,
Yeah, that's not bad. Way of the Astral Self.
Yeah.
So this one is at least thematically consistent. Much more so than the Barbarian.
Yes.
I think. I'm not a fan of its mechanics.
I think the mechanics are overpowered. Some of them are very, very overpowered.
Okay. There is a technicality here in that if you look at the duration, they're not. Or they are, depending on how you want to cut it.
Okay.
All of them are 10 minutes long.
Yes.
Which isn't a long time. All of them are
in combat.
It is in combat, but no combat ever lasts that long.
Exactly.
So, and this is where I think this design falls down, is in this aspect.
Okay.
It doesn't take into consideration the flow of play.
Yeah.
It says 10 minutes, which is fine if your DM is keeping track of such things.
Yes.
But do you really want to be... Do you really want to count 100 turns of initiative?
Right. So here's it breaks down for me at 11th level. And here's why.
Okay.
The initial ability, the third level, you can spend 2 key points as a bonus action to summon your astral arms.
2 of your 3.
Two
At that level.
2 of your 3 at that level. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For 10 minutes, you've got these arms. You can use your wisdom modifier in place of strength modifier for strength checks and saving throws. That's fine. The arms are monk weapons, have a reach of 10 feet. Arms deal radiant or necrotic damage, your choice. Okay, that's all fine, I mean, the Sun Soul can do radiant damage at 30 feet.
Yeah. But that gives them a reach of 10 feet.
Yes.
Which the Radiant Soul's 30 feet thing is a ranged attack.
Right.
This is 10 feet of range. This gives them control of the battlefield.
Yes. And they use wisdom in place of strength or dex for the attack and damage. And here's where... and immediately after you use the attack action with your astral arms on your turn, you can make 1 extra attack with your astral arms as a bonus action. The number of attacks increases when you reach certain levels, increasing to 2 at 11th level, 3 at 17th level. Okay, so where it breaks down at 11th level for me is, say it goes 10 rounds, a minute, okay? If you were to do Flurry of Blows every round in that minute, that's 10 key points. Here you're spending 2 key points at the beginning of the battle at 11th level, and you basically get Flurry of Blows
The whole time.
the whole time.
Yeah.
For 2 key points.
Yeah.
And it completely makes Flurry of Blows one of the main features of the monk a waste of time.
Yes. But they did that on purpose. And they did it on purpose because they made it such, especially at the lower level, such a big investment of your key to do this, that they didn't want to penalize you too much. That's why you get the extra attack.
And that's fine. And if it stayed the extra attack, so I can do the extra attack or I can spend a key point and do Flurry of Blows, that would be fine.
Right.
But then you get to 17th level and you've got 3, so you're doing 5 attacks each round. That even outpaces fighters unless they're using an action surge.
Yeah.
And that's the fighter's thing.
Yeah. Yeah. This class, like I say, thematically, they did a good job.
Yes.
And each thing builds off the previous thing. But the in-play stuff in it
Yeah.
just not there.
I think if it had just stayed one attack, and then you could use your key point to flurry of blows or whatever, that would be. Then I wouldn't have a problem with this ability. It's that scaling without a scaling of the price you're paying, and outclassing other classes at their thing.
Right.
That I do not like.
Right. Yeah, and really, what the other thing that the arms make them, it's way better than Shillelagh.
Yes.
Because Shillelagh allows, it's a magic weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It does a D8 of damage,
mm-hmm.
and it uses your wisdom modifier.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have reach.
Right. And it's still bludgeoning.
Right.
It doesn't become radiant or necrotic.
Right. So that's another problem that I have with this.
Yeah. Yeah. You know.
And Visage of the Astral Self, again, it's half the key that you have when you get the power.
Yes. Now, the Visage, I didn't have a problem with. It's 1 point as a bonus action, or as part of summoning your arms. So you can spend the third point when you summon your arms to get it, or you can spend one just to have its abilities without the arms.
Well, you would have to spend 5 key points to get both.
No. On your turn, you spend 1 key point as a bonus action, or as part of summoning your arms. So it's 1 point to summon just it, or 3 to summon it with the arms.
Yes. Yes. I don't get the astral sight thing.
I don't necessarily understand why it connects. I've got no problem with it. It gives us a
alternate to Devil Sight.
Alternate to Devil Sight and the Shadow Sorcerer. It gives us a third class that can see in magical darkness. I mean, now granted, you get this monk, a warlock with Devil Sight, and the Shadow Sorcerer together, and you're just throwing darkness on one of your weapons, and you're fracking place because no one else can see.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
You've got great tactical advantage.
Yeah.
But I've got no problem with it, given the fact that we've got 2 other classes that can do this.
Okay. Do you understand why Wisdom of the Spirit is there? Because I don't.
I get the intimidation part, but not necessarily the insight. Because you've got the visage, it's like the face of this, monster or whatever it is you are on the astral plane. And it can be intimidating, It's like this, the panther god,
Yeah. Now see, if this was worded such that you had like astral perception, where you're reading their aura.
Yeah.
I could see maybe that's where it's from. Maybe that's where it's from.
Yeah. But it's like it's a helmet basically. So it's like a Goa'uld helmet. The Anubis head.
Yeah.
As all of a sudden your head is replaced with an Anubis head.
Yeah.
Fair.
The awakening of the astral self. Deflect energy.
So now, important thing to note: this ability costs you nothing extra.
Yes, it's just like deflect missile. Deflect missiles.
It's the extra 3. It's the 3 points you spend to do the arms and the visage, and you get all these extra abilities on top of what we've already talked about, including now flurry of blows being pointless because this is the level where that comes into play.
Yeah.
For basically a third of your key points.
Yeah. Which maybe they did that so that you could be spending them on stunning. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the deflect energy is useful, but I don't necessarily see how this is thematic to the astral plane.
Right.
or the Astral Sea, however you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it if it was psychic damage. Maybe even force damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those, you can do this. That would be more thematic to the astral.
Yeah. But yeah, that.
And if they're going to do this like the deflect missiles, I would have liked to see them, as your reaction, you get to spend a key point to hurl that damage back and give them a saving throw with your monk saving throw, taking the damage.
Yep. Yeah, which would be your astral basically grabbing it and then
redirecting it. Yeah.
I can see that. Empowered arms. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a target with your astral arms, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to your martial arts die. So once on each of your turns, you score a critical hit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you anything. Again, so
So you're getting the extra attacks, and you're guaranteeing a crit.
Once. Yeah. As long as you don't whiff on all of your attacks.
Yeah.
You're guaranteeing. If you hit at least once, you're guaranteeing a crit.
Yeah. Except it's not really a crit because they couldn't word it that way because it might trigger other things in the system. But if you're doubling your damage die, because most monks are doing their martial arts die, at that level especially...
And your arms are martial arts weapons anyway.
Yeah. So you're essentially ensuring they are doing crit damage every turn, at least once.
And again, if that cost you key points, like you had access to this, but it
cost a key point
to spend,
Yeah, I can see that. That would at least... That would tamp it down a little
rather than just giving you these things, make you spend that resource, which is the point of the key points, is it's a resource to use these things.
Right. Word of Spirit. I didn't get why this requires the arms and the head. Like, why couldn't they just do this?
Right. Yeah, I think this, should just be spend a key point and you can either whisper to someone or make everybody fucking hear you.
Yeah. Or just spend a key point and you have telepathy for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be totally fine. And would be more fitting.
Yeah.
To the whole astral psychic thing.
Yeah. The complete Astral Self.
Speaking of going to the psychic, though, instead of radiant or necrotic damage with the arms, it should be psychic damage.
Yeah. Which also has very few things that are resistant to it.
Right.
And specifically totem barbarians.
Right.
So yeah. Bonus action, summon the arms, 10 key points. So that's 10 of your 17 when you get the ability, half of them when you're at 20th level.
Right. Which is fine, it's an investment.
Yep. Spectral body, it's like a suit of armor. You gain a +2 to your AC because, astral stuff. It's basically a shield of faith.
Yeah.
Astral barrage. When you use the extra attack feature to attack twice, you can instead attack 3 times using your astral arms. Plus,
meaning you have 6 attacks, because at 17th level you're at 3 as the bonus action, so you're at 6 attacks, one of them doing crit damage.
Yep. Yeah.
Every round of combat.
Yep. Which now makes you definitely better than a fighter.
Yeah.
Who at 17th level is 4 attacks?
Yeah. 5 if they have an offhand weapon with bonus action.
Yes. So, this is, and then the key consumption. When a creature within 10 feet of you is reduced to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to regain key points equal to your wisdom modifier. Which means, at 20th level, at 17th level, it's up to 1/3 potentially of a short rest per creature.
Yeah, and so, and and 2 of them go down, and you spent nothing for this ability.
Yeah,
I would make it to where it has to be someone that you took out with your arms.
that would at least balance it some. Yeah,
That would balance it. And let's go with balancing. I would say you gain key points equal to their wisdom modifier, minimum 1. Because you're taking their key into you.
or their intelligence modifier if you want to keep it psychic.
Yeah, either one of those.
Yeah.
I think doing those 2 things would balance that portion of the ability.
Yeah.
You have to do it with your astral arms because that's how you're sucking it out, and it's within the 10 feet.
The
And
Infernal
it's
Pact
their
Warlock
key.
has to do the killing
Right.
to get the temporary hit points.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I would change that up.
Yeah. But one last note on balance. And I mentioned this at the beginning of the discussion about the monk.
Mm-hmm.
And that is play rhythms, the cycle of play.
Yeah.
A lot of groups, they get into a fight, and then people start talking short rest depending on how hard that fight was.
And how many warlocks, other things that require short rest.
Yeah. Maybe they get into a second fight.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's real. We got to take a short rest, guys.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah.
Almost never are those 2 fights within the same 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because even the time frame for skill checks for investigation as dictated in the books are 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you're playing this monk and your wizard wants to investigate the room you're in,
Yeah. Your stuff's gone.
Yep.
And you're spending it again.
well,
Yeah.
you can't, especially at the
Well,
lower
you
levels,
can, yeah.
because you dumped 2/3 of your resources into this thing.
Yeah.
And got 3 rounds of combat out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. I don't like, and basically, so after that 1 or maybe 2 fights, if you're lucky, and you have to be the one pushing them, hey guys, let's clear the next room, kind of pacing, if
Yeah.
you're pushing everyone too, because you're going to get the most out of your
expenditure.
right. So you're potentially putting your other party members in danger because you want to get the most out of this, or you're not getting the most out of it because you get 1 fight
So,
in 15 seconds.
Here's the cheesy workaround for that.
Okay.
You have a party. You have this monk. You have the wizard that wants to
Catnap.
investigate the room. And you have a bard. The bard casts catnap while the wizard's investigating the room. Bam, you're good to go. Move on.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that is a workaround, but it still doesn't that's my fundamental problem with this build.
And I 100% agree with you.
It does not follow the pace of play.
Yeah.
Um,
And I will say, I like the flavor of both of these. I like the intended flavor of the Barbarian and the flavor it came off as. Has 2 separate subclasses.
Yeah.
I do like this flavor. I mentioned it to you. I think it would be really fun to play multi-class this monk with either a warlock or a cleric and have your astral self be the visage of your deity or your patron, to where you're basically becoming their avatar, especially if it's a martial deity.
Court or whatever, or an orc.
Yeah.
It's follower of Grumsh.
Yes, exactly.
A war cleric of Grumsh.
Or even like a battle style warlock,
Yeah.
I think that would be a really neat multi-class. And you're not going to hit that 17th level where you sucking out the key and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a fun mix.
Right. And that gets down to they flavored it right.
Yeah.
It's got some cool aesthetics.
Yes.
But the mechanics just aren't necessarily there. they're not satisfying at all. I don't think it.
Yeah.
Now I did do I did do my own design,
Okay.
and we have allowed ourselves potential to go long tonight
Yes.
because Talks is dark tonight. So my version of the Way of the Astral Self.
Okay.
At 3rd level, Astral Fists. Change your Flurry of Blows damage to psychic damage.
Okay. I like it. Just your flurry of blows, or you're unarmed as well?
Just Flurry of Blows.
Okay.
Well, I'm open to either, but my initial build was just Flurry of Blows.
Okay.
Because basically, the way that I would flavor it is you've hit them physically with your fists, and then spiritual fists follow up.
Okay, I like
So
that.
as this fist is coming back, its spirit's already hitting.
And yeah, I like that because the visual is almost like a Matrix when they're doing the fight, and you see the blur hitting
Yep.
them the second time.
Yep. The 3 or 4
Yeah.
fists. Yeah.
I like that.
And at 3rd level, Ethereal Perception. Spend a key point. For 1 minute, you can perceive the ethereal plane up to 60 feet.
Okay, I like that.
And this gets to the psychic. The ethereal plane is not the astral sea, but in a sense, the ethereal. The way that I think about it is the ethereal plane is a version of the astral that's close to the material plane.
Yeah.
Because it's the realm of ghosts, where the astral sea is the realm of the gods and heaven.
Yeah.
Basically. So, yeah.
It's basically the tide pool of the astral sea.
Exactly, yes. Yes. At 6th level, Lidless Eye.
Okay.
You can gain True Sight until the end of your next turn.
For the cost of a key point? Or a bonus action?
A bonus action, I think.
Okay.
When I wrote this down, I hadn't decided whether or not, if I was going to make it a key point, I would make it last a minute.
Okay, yeah. Well, and I like that it gives you uses your bonus action because I can't flurry of blows this turn.
Right.
I can see you and hit you until my end of my next turn, but
Well, it allows the flurry next turn.
Yeah. But it's a setup.
Right. Or Cloak the Mind, where they can spend key points and cast invisibility on themselves. That one I'm not keen on,
Yeah.
but when I was
If I were to do something like that, I would almost tie it to the ethereal sight and have them cast blink on themselves, where they're jumping in and out of the ethereal.
that would be a better yes.
Rather
I agree.
than invisibility.
I think I did invisibility just because with True Sight.
Yeah.
But yeah, that. I think that is better. And that actually fits better into the 11th level ability,
Okay.
which I called Ethereal Jump. As a bonus action, spend 5 key points to step into the ethereal plane.
Okay.
You can remain there up to 1 hour. While there, you cannot interact with the physical plane, blah, 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 the usual stuff. And you can spend 2 key points to Misty Step.
Okay. I like it.
Now, if we had Blink at 6th level, maybe I get rid of
Misty
Step.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But
But I didn't think of Blink. That's, yeah. At 17th level, Astral Gate.
okay.
Spend 10 key points to cast Astral Projection without components.
I like that one. I think you take out Misty Step, give them the blink ability, and you give them the sage background, and you've got your wise monk on top of the mountain.
Yeah. Granted, I don't think this class build definitely doesn't have the aesthetic appeal of their version,
Right.
but I think I like the thematics of this build better than theirs, I think.
Yeah.
And also, arguably, that build is less combat oriented,
Mm-hmm.
which may be a downside to it.
Well, okay, honestly, this monk that you just fleshed out, I could see end up being the psionic subclass for monk.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Or at least close to.
And I built this one after the 2 Barbarians. So the idea of giving a non-caster class an ability to plane shift,
Yeah.
I kind of liked.
Yeah, definitely. And
So
it
when I
fits with them,
Right.
Because they're both tied to other planes.
Which is in no way telegraphing Planescape.
No. It's not telegraphing Planescape. It's not hinting at Spelljammer. Nope.
Yeah. So
Still waiting for Dark Sun.
yeah.
I think we'll get the psionic subclasses before we get Dark Sun. I think that's going to be a precursor or part of the Dark Sun.
Yeah. I think that was definitely the case for the Mystic.
Yeah.
And then all the subclass building that Mike Merles was doing.
Yeah.
On the Happy Fun Hour.
Either they're releasing that to be the warm up act for Dark Sun, or as part of the Dark Sun book.
Right. But that's probably not going to be till next year at the earliest.
Yeah, late next year or 2021.
Uh,
Because we're almost to early next year already.
right. And
And
Eberron comes out in November.
Yeah.
So possibly November next year might be the time frame that
I would say that's the earliest we're going to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dark Sun and Kryn are the 2 I'm still waiting for.
Do you think they actually do Kryn?
I don't know.
Because I don't think they did one for 4th edition.
No, they did do it for 3rd, though.
Yeah.
And that was when they reached the settlement with Margaret and Tracy about the rights and the payments, and was during 3rd edition.
And which is probably why it wasn't in 4th edition.
I think it wasn't in 4th edition because of 4th edition's relatively short lifespan, as much as anything else.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true.
Because not that it wasn't around for a while, but in relation to how long 5th edition has been out, how long 3rd was out, how long 2nd was out.
Yeah.
It had a extremely short lifespan.
No, that's fair. That's very fair, yeah. 5 years, I think.
4 or 5, yeah, somewhere in there. And we're over 10 with 5th edition, right? At 10?
No, I think it's 7.
Is it?
I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I still suffer from. Wait, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, me too. And 3rd edition lasted a long time.
Yeah, 3rd edition was really long.
Now, granted, you could argue it was 2 different editions because
3
you had 3
through 5.
through 5, but
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I'm not, in conclusion, I'm not a big fan of this UA. I think they had nice aesthetics with the Astral Monk. I think the Barbarian was off.
I think I think I agree. They had good goals going into it. The flavor text for both of them is great. I think the execution is not up to Wizards' par.
Yeah.
I think they missed on the execution.
And Snoopy agrees with you. Snoopy Ace.
Yeah.
Link is better.
Yeah. I think with the Barbarian, they had a good idea and they executed a different good idea.
Yeah.
You know, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
And I think both of them could be valid subclasses for the Barbarian. The Astral one, like I said, I really like the aesthetic. I talked about the it got me excited when I first read. I was like, I want to do this with this. Immediately had a multi-class. Okay, this guy's actually the avatar descendant of this, being.
Yeah.
Um,
What if they reworked the Astral Bunk as being you spend the key points and you get the whole shebang, but the abilities that are powerful don't come until later?
I'd be okay with that.
Because I think that has some validity too.
Yeah.
That just doing different parts.
Yeah.
And why isn't the face first?
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah.
Yeah. You wrap yourself in this astral and it grows in power at each level.
Right.
And I think that there should be options. Some of the options shouldn't just be automatic while you're in the visage.
Right.
Unless the cost of forming the visage increases at each step.
Yes.
I think some of them, when we talked about it, like the deflect energy, you should be able to spend the key point to reflect it.
Yeah.
You should be able to spend the key point to get the crit damage.
Yeah.
The extra damage die, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. I don't think I have anything else to say. We're a little over our normal time.
Yep.
So we will say good evening, and we'll see you guys next week, where we will discuss episode 77, whatever it is titled. We will see you guys next week.